Before I get started, I do consulting on where you can move. I'll work with you to find the perfect place for you to move to. There's more information at the end of the video about that. Now let's get started. So you're hanging out with your family on a California camping trip. The day's going okay, and then, pow! Here comes trouble. This creep wants your phones, your cash, and you're in and out. You hand it over, of course, and let him be on his way. The fries were cold anyway. That was a close call. You got lucky this time, but had you been paying attention on YouTube, you would have known to stay away from this high crime area. And of course, when you get back to your car, you realize somebody stole your catalytic converter. Typical low-life losers in Southern California, right? Now, overall, crime in California is way above the national average. Currently, California is the 12th most dangerous state, and it's getting more dangerous all the time. There's a lot of places here where it's really safe, but some terrible areas where you shouldn't go, even in the daytime. I thought I saw another carjacking. Not on my watch. Hey everybody, as you can see, I am a cop. I'm up here in the Bay Area on parking lot duty. We've had so many carjackings and car thefts. They took me off in gang detail to deal with all this crap. Now today we're going to talk about the most dangerous cities in California, where all the lowlives and scums live. It's kind of places where most of my colleagues won't even go into. Nuh-uh, nothing scares me. I'll totally kick their butts. Shh, shut up, super gay cop. You're gonna blow our cover. California is so scary, criminals that do not care, and if you want to stay alive, then stay away from all of its dangerous. So here we are in California. This is South Los Angeles. Now back in the 90s, this place was a real war zone. But most of the troublemakers left South LA decades ago, and now this place isn't so bad anymore. California is full of surprises like that. In fact, look at this graph. In the early 90s, California's crime was just about the highest in the nation. Currently, California is the 12th most dangerous state, and in a lot of places, it's getting more dangerous all the time. Just like the places we're going to talk about, places like San Francisco. Now, of course, you can walk around downtown San Francisco and not get murdered. You might step in poop, but you won't die. But when you combine your chances of being robbed or beaten up, San Francisco is the 10th most dangerous place in the whole state. Overall, if you live here for a year, you'd have a 1 in 18 chance of being the victim of some sort of crime. And the odds of a robbery being solved here is 1 in 10. The criminals know that. The worst parts of San Francisco are going to be anywhere near the Tenderloin District, a neighborhood right in the middle of this packed city that's filled with the most desperate of all of us. But even if you stay away from the bad parts of San Francisco, trouble will find you. Crackheads have been stealing people's catalytic converters in the Bay Area for a long time now. But the new trend is people getting shot trying to stop the catalytic converter thefts. So if you walk outside and find somebody under your car with a power tool, just let them go, or you might die. The number of car thefts here has shot up too. One museum in town says they've had more cars stolen from their neighborhood than ever before. And if they can't steal your car, they'll just break a window and take anything they can sell for $1. If they think somebody would buy your old Duran Duran CD, they'll take it. A lot of times in San Francisco, people will walk outside and find somebody stealing their car, and they call the cops, but the cops don't even show up. One neighbor says, it's very concerning as a female to walk outside in broad daylight and see people stealing your car right in front of your eyes. Just assume your car is going to get broken into. Just plan on it happening. That's just sad. We're going to go somewhere way different for our 9th most dangerous city. This is Barstow, California. It's most well known as the halfway point between LA and Vegas. A lot of people know it for gas stations and fast food restaurants, and that's about it. But the people who live here know how bad it is in Barstow, I'll tell you that. This is actually the 10th most violent place in the whole state, if you can believe it. This little desert community. If you lived in Barstow for a year, you'd have a 1 in 88 chance of being beaten up, raped, shot at, or murdered. What the hell? In many parts of Barstow, it's filthy, it's run down, it's full of homeless people. You can't go to a gas station here without getting hit up for money or free gas. Going to the Walmart in Barstow and all the batteries and the Tide Pods and the booze, it's all locked up behind glass. Barstow's right along what people in California call the 15, so there's druggies and transients and hobos all over. And those people steal for a living. The burglary rate in Barstow is the 5th highest rate in the whole state. One somewhat reputable source actually called Barstow the 14th most dangerous small town in the nation. Don't move to Barstow. Believe it or not, you'd be better off living in Victorville or Apple Valley. Back to the Bay Area we go. I feel like we're going to be up here a lot. We're in Richmond, which is a dumpy area just north of Berkeley. There's abandoned homes and graffiti all over the place. High-speed chases and helicopters flying overhead are fairly common. Crime here was so bad that one time the city council declared a state of emergency. In 2007, Richmond was the 9th most dangerous city in the whole country. Things were so bad here, the city of Richmond actually started paying criminals anywhere from $300 to $1,000 a month not to kill someone. Honestly, that's what the world's come to. You get welfare for not working, and you get $1,000 a month for promising not to shoot somebody. What the damn hell? Besides bribing criminals with cash, Richmond also spends $2 million a year to feed and house homeless people, and another $2 million a year to help teens get jobs. Okay, the second part I agree with, but using taxpayer money to keep homeless people happy? Really? Richmond also shifted a bunch of police funding to mental health experts who were supposed to counsel criminals, but they were very clear in their meetings not to say they were defunding the police. That's important. You can't say that. None of what they're doing seems to be working. A few months back, there were 11 shootings in 1 week. It was so bad the cops went to social media to ask people for help. How about more cops? Maybe? Wouldn't that help? Because apparently social media is not the place to go to lower crime. Earlier this year, Richmond rapper Tayway was killed, and the beef started on Instagram, of all places. R.I.P. Tayway. Back to Southern California we go. Our next stop is Little Signal Hill, which a lot of people outside of Long Beach don't even know about. This little city is completely surrounded by Long Beach, and we know how ghetto Long Beach is. Signal Hill has the 4th most robberies in the whole state, where people have a 1 in 17 chance of being robbed every year. The crime index here is a 1, meaning Signal Hill is safer than only 1% of all other cities in the U.S. And look at the crimes per square mile and how much higher it is here than the rest of the state. I'm telling you, some of the worst places for crime in California are places you might not even think of. In fact, the communities of Big Bear and Needles are some of the most violent places in the state per capita. A lot of people in California have never even heard of Big Bear or Needles. Just like many people here probably haven't heard of Red Bluff. It's a small place where 13,000 people make home. It's right off the 5 south of Redding. Here, residents have a 1 in 18 chance of being robbed. Red Bluff is also the 14th most violent place in the whole state per capita, and it has the 3rd highest number of rape cases per capita too. Damn. Oh, and by the way, there's laws in California that if you steal under $1,000 from a store, cops can't even do anything about it anymore. So what do you think happens? People steal from stores. More than ever, actually. But who would have thought Little Red Bluff? It's a teeny little place. It's off the radar for most Californians. It's just a really small, bad place to live that doesn't get a lot of attention for some reason.
Maybe people just get used to the crime and it's just normal now.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it okay, Mappy. You just can't ignore problems.
Mappy doesn't ignore problems at home. He's very sensitive to my needs.
Karen Mappy, that might be the nicest thing you've ever said.
I didn't mean it.
I'm sure you didn't. Sorry, Mappy. Commerce is next up on our list. Again, a lot of people in California don't even know where Commerce is. It's in Southeast LA, sort of by East LA. There's only one other city in this whole state with a higher rate of robberies per capita than Little Commerce. If you lived here for a year, you'd have a 1 in 11 chance of being robbed. And it's not for bus money, because the buses in Commerce are free. There's a casino here. I'm sure a lot of crimes happen there. I'm telling you, no good things happen in casinos, people. Gangs are a problem here. Yes, there's still losers who gangbang, even though that was so 1992. There's a Hispanic gang here called Choppers 12 that really makes life miserable for people in town. Look at this list of people who have been killed in Commerce recently. Latino male, shot. Latino male, shot. Latino male, shot. It just keeps going. Here we are in a place that I know very well. This is San Bernardino, California, my old hometown. Yes, I practically grew up here, and I can tell you, today it's just a sad, miserable, dangerous place. Statistically, San Bernardino is the 5th most violent place in the state, and with 50 murders last year, it has the 3rd highest murder rate in California. It's certainly one of the poorest places you can live in the state, too. Now, you've heard it all before, how this was once a great place, and now it's a total dump. The city was bankrupt, and now sort of isn't, they say. It's estimated the money spent fighting crime here is equivalent to $4,000 per resident. And remember, in 1995, this was the murder capital of the whole country. Today, San Bernardino is really just bad everywhere except a little part of the north end of town. There's lots of drugs and homeless druggies, and people come here to party, fight, and shoot their guns. It's really terrible. It's every day, and there's no end. Half the place is filled with really selfish and uneducated people who couldn't care at all how bad things are here. There's nothing to try here. There's no master plan. It's rare that ideas are even proposed anymore. San Bernardino's just going to continue to suck and probably only get worse. Everybody knows about Stockton and how bad things have gotten here. This is now the third most violent place in California. A lot of Stockton's run down, especially since the agriculture here has changed a lot. There's just a lot of really poor people here without jobs who don't speak English, and they're packed into really crummy apartments. The kids struggle in school, if they even go to school. A lot of them get sucked into gangs. But it still remains the fastest growing city in this whole state. What does that say about California? A lot of the new people moving here are the poor ones who couldn't afford the Bay Area anymore. And there's not a lot of good jobs for them here, except distributing drugs for the Mexican cartel. Oh, and it's getting worse here too. Rapes and sex attack crimes are up double digits. Look at this. Stockton spends 18% of its budget on crime and only 3% on community services. Shouldn't that be the other way around? Stockton had 55 homicides last year, and that was the highest in a long time. They tried this Operation Raven thing where they beefed up cops in the worst parts of town. But of course, Project Raven didn't work because a lot of people here are poor and desperate and lack the confidence it takes to excel. What do you do with these people? Try to force change? Ask them to be part of a modern world? Ask them to contribute and grow up? I don't think they even want to be part of something better. No wonder Stockton was called the fourth worst place in the country to raise kids. And don't laugh, Fresno, Visalia, Modesto, or Bakersfield. You're not much better. Well, we're going back up to the Bay Area one more time, and we won't be leaving. Our second most dangerous place to live in California is Emeryville, a teeny little place where there's 11,000 people. It's wedged right between Berkeley and Oakland. Can you imagine how much that must suck to be stuck between Berkeley and Oakland? Parts of Emeryville are just chaos. Dead bodies under bridges, Targets getting robbed in the middle of the day, homeless people shooting up, homeless people shooting each other. Statistically, this is the fourth most violent place in the state, and it's first in robberies. If you lived here for a year, you'd have a 1 in 78 chance of being beaten up, raped, or killed, and a 1 in 4 chance of being robbed. Yes, I said that right. 1 in every 4 residents here gets robbed every year. Pretty much somebody from every house gets robbed. And look, it's still going up too. Next year, it might be 1 in 3 people. I guess if you live in Emeryville, you just have to assume you're going to get robbed and you just deal with it. And don't forget, a while back, Emeryville was ranked as the most dangerous city in the whole country. I guess a 90% spike in car thefts will help get you there. Check this out. Emeryville is safer than 0% of all U.S. cities. I'm not a math expert, but I don't think you can get any worse than that. Emeryville is supposedly built on old Indian burial grounds. Maybe this place is just cursed. And where's the most dangerous place to live in California? It's probably not a surprise that it's Oakland. This place has been terrible for decades. They're even fixing this place up and it's still miserable there. Oakland ranks second in the state for robberies and is third in violent crimes per capita. There's a murder here every 3 days that they even know about. Every year, 1 in 12 people in Oakland is either robbed, shot at, beaten up, or killed. That's just crazy. They were making progress here for a while. You know, community involvement, talking sense to people with guns, even talking sense to gang members lying in hospital beds, but none of that works. These people don't give a crap. The headlines in Oakland are the same every day. Spike in violent crime, a bunch of killings, soaring new crime stats, gang violence, human trafficking, robberies, carjackings, rapes, shootings are up 50%, armed robberies are up 50%, carjackings are up 100%. It's so bad here now, they just tell people, hand over the keys so you don't get killed. Of course, in Oakland, criminals get out on zero bail, and the courts are backed up. These people just aren't even prosecuted. And the city has less than 700 cops now, and that's the lowest number of cops they've had in decades. When they actually do get people behind bars, they don't stay long. California likes to catch and release. There's no 3 strikes and you're out here anymore, pal. It's just a damn shame. Shame on you, Oakland. The good people here deserve better. Now, in terms of counties, the most violent counties in the state per capita are San Francisco, San Joaquin, Shasta, Alameda, and Del Norte. All are in Northern California. Is that a surprise? Maybe. In fact, you have to go all the way down 23 counties to find one in Southern California. It might be a little surprising to you. And before we go, I'm sure everybody wants to know where the safest places in California are. Most are places you've never heard of before. They're teeny little rich cities, but many are in Orange County. Places like Rancho Santa Margarita, Aliso Viejo, and Laguna Woods. So move there if you want to keep your family and your in and out safe. California is so scary, criminals that do not care, and if you want to stay alive, then stay away from all of its dangerous. Hey guys, so if anything I just talked about upset you or made you sad or mad, well then do something about it. Call your local leaders and demand change. Chip in and help those in need. Make your community better, because communities don't get better without hard work and determination. America's a great place. It just needs some more love and pride.
This is Sage, Nick's manager. This has been a Corner House Entertainment production.
And are you looking to move and need advice? I do consulting. That's right. I'll sit down and talk about where the next perfect place for you and your family should be. I do it all the time. Together, let's find you a new home that's safe and checks all your boxes. You can get my email in the description to find out how I can help you find your perfect relocation.